What's going on? What's going on? You are tuned into the Cigars with Mac podcast. Please feel free to email me at info@cigarswithmacpod.com if you have any show topics, or you can hit my line at 682-227-1780. Man, today I got a special guest online, and we're going to talk about a little bit of everything, but he is in the real estate industry. This man has been doing real estate for well over a decade plus and is successful with it. And today we're going to talk about hold what you got. Hold what you got, because today, I've been hearing people talk about they're going to move out the neighborhoods because the neighborhoods are getting crime ridden. But at the end of the day, that's everywhere now. The streets got to eat. The streets got to eat. And so, I want to bring my guest / good friend on here, and we're going to just chop it up, because at the end of the day, man, it's one thing to hear me talk about it, but this man is an expert in the field. He's going to promote his industry, his business, and I would love for y'all to support him, because at the end of the day, you're missing out. Especially if you, like I said, you can still buy real estate today. Don't get it twisted. But it's gonna be a little tricky now. I mean, it's so bad now you can't even move on the outskirts. I was just I was just cruising today, running some errands, and they building apartments left and right. And I heard a YouTuber say that it's gonna be a renter's industry for a while, because a lot of people financially don't have it to buy, and the price is going through the roof. I've even heard some clowns say the market's going to collapse. It's not collapsing, people. You can hang that up. It's not happening. But anyway, I'm going to bring my boy in, CT, Real Estate with CT, man. Let's do it, bro.
Hey, man, what's going on?
What's going on, bro? I remember you told me, bro, we was talking about real estate. You told me, man, hold what you got.
Well, it's the time now of, everybody's looking at this where they can get in a house.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to sell and everybody wants to purchase a new house. Now,
mm-hmm.
and you've actually been out with me, and you saw how crazy the market was.
Yeah.
What was that, about a couple of months ago?
Yeah.
So now, interest rates were lower back then. So as you saw when you went out with me, when I say people, I'm talking specifically builders, weren't building houses again until December. Inventory was low. There was a shortage.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, at that time, it's like, hey, man, you can sell, but where you gonna go? But see, now that interest rates have jumped up almost 3% since then, there's been an influx of property. So, remember how me and you went out, those builders didn't have houses? Man, I get this now. Builders got 30 houses available.
Oh, man.
Yeah, oh, yeah. It's a neighborhood over here. I want to say I went out there around January. They had nothing. The next phase wasn't starting until like now, June. I guess we're in June, right?
Yeah.
And so they were like, yeah, we had a waiting list, blah, 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 and get on it now. Man, them people released a list last week, and they got 30 houses. They giving $10,000 off.
What?
Closing costs, blinds. Oh, yeah. And so, for me as a lender, it's like I had a client, and I was utilizing them. They were going to utilize my services. The builder came in and said, we're going to give you $6,500 towards closing. We're going to give you free blinds. We're going to lock your interest rate. So, sometimes those builders are a little bit hard to beat. So the market has definitely changed. But I'll say this about it. If you have a house, right, and you have equity in that house, there's other options that you can do now. Meaning there's a cash out refi option and there's a HELOC option.
Okay.
So let's address cash out refi. Because some people just like where they live. They don't want to, like for me, right?
Yeah.
I like where I live. And I can live here the rest of my life at this house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When people are seeing that, well, let's just say we're going to use arbitrary numbers, and I'm going to use round numbers to make it simple math, right?
Okay.
So let's just say you bought a house for $100,000 and it's worth $300,000. So you got a couple of options. You can do a cash out refi up to 75% of the equity.
Oh, wow.
So if your house is worth $300,000, you owe $100,000. We'll say you owe $100,000, not what you paid. That's what you owe.
Yeah.
You've got $200,000 in equity, right?
Yeah.
So the banks will allow you to get up to 75% of that, which is $150,000.
Oh, wow.
Cash. And that money's untaxed.
Oh, wow.
Now, that'll refinance your loan back to 30 years. Your mortgage payment will go up slightly, but you'll have $150,000 liquid. So if it was some repairs you wanted to do around the house or, some debt you wanted to pay off, you could do that. Now, there's also, for those people that are like, well, I don't want to hire a mortgage. I don't want to go through the closing costs and things of that nature. You got a thing called a HELOC, which is home equity line of credit. Now, they just brought those back. During COVID, everybody stopped giving those down.
Okay.
Nobody would do a HELOC. But now let's take that same scenario. You got $200,000 in equity. I have a lender that'll give you 89%.
Oh, wow.
Of the equity. Exactly. So if we got $200,000, right? Again, we're using whole numbers. So they'll give you 89% of that. 0.89. You can get $178,000, and the way that works, it's a line of credit. The first 10 years, your payments will be interest only, and the next 20 years, whatever you borrow amortizes like a loan. So let me break all that down. So it's basically like having a credit card. You have $178,000 line of credit up against the equity in your house. So let's just say you needed to borrow $5,000. So you could just take $5,000. And so then you'll have $173,000 left. And then your payments would be interest only. So you think about if you took a $5,000 loan, your principal and interest, we're just going to use round numbers. Let's just say it's $250, right? And but if you did it with the HELOC, the $5,000, your interest only might be $100 a month.
Oh, wow.
But it would behoove you to pay the principal and interest back. So you borrow $5, just pay the $5 back, and now you just reload to $178,000. So you use it as you need it, and that lasts for around 30 years.
Okay.
So it's perfect. So that way you don't have to do any of the closing costs, any of that thing. You can still utilize equity that's in your house. So it's a lot of different options out there for those that don't want to move. Now, if you do decide to move now, yeah, there's a lot more inventory, but the cost of houses are more than what they were.
Yeah.
Depending on when you bought, especially if you bought 10 years ago. You're going to have a sticker shock. And don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. House prices are not going down
at all.
Stabilize. They're going to just stabilize. They're just going to stop going up. But they're going to be stuck at back when we were buying. The median home price might have been like 150, 200,000, depending on what part of town you're in. So if your median home price is 225, 250 back 10 years ago, it's 450, 500,000.
Man, I can remember when I bought my first house, it was 105, and man, I was like, that was a comfortable payment back then, but it's like, man, nowadays the average house we talking $500,000, like literally, it's not even a joke anymore. If you find a house for less than that, let me know, because it ain't happening. And then we talking about 5% interest rate, 6%.
Yeah.
That's the norm.
Yeah,
that is now the new norm. So I think people got this thing twisted, man, because a young lady was she was a real estate agent, and I don't think she know. Like I told her, I said, I have a direct plug. I mean, this guy is, investor. You've been a real estate agent. Now you're on the lending side. So I'm getting the information from the source.
Mm-hmm. And you've been out.
I've been out there. Like, I'm thinking houses. I'm still stuck at, before you took me out, I'm still thinking houses 250. No, sir.
Right. Yeah.
Good luck.
You thought I was just talking when I told you that when we were riding around, and you just remember some of the houses that we went to that were 900,000. Oh
yeah, I ain't even got into that, man. Because here's the thing.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Think about this. Those $500,000 houses that we saw were $200,000 houses 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean,
10, 11 years ago.
And here's something else I want to let the people know, especially the black community. I don't use the term people of color, urban. It would behoove black people to start, cohabitating. Because as you and I both got, again, another direct plug, the lady basically said, if you want these $1 million, $2 million houses, you're going to have to do like the East Indians do, and you get 4 or 5 people on that mortgage.
Well, that's just some of the principles of Dr. Claude Anderson group economics.
Yeah.
It would definitely behoove to utilize the group economics, because you're more powerful as a group, and those are the things that'll help you to come up. But a lot of times, I don't like her, she don't like me, I can't stand it, and they let the personal stuff get in the way.
Yeah.
What the bottom line is. Because you're right. We did go to a house, and the associate did say that, there are like 3 families. We're talking about real families, married couples, like the mother, the father, the son, his wife, and another family lived there. But the house was $1.1 million. I mean, the house was beautiful. It was a beautiful house, but it's 3 families. Remember, they said that they had 2 kitchens, one upstairs, and they turned the media room into a kitchen upstairs. They had a kitchen upstairs and a kitchen downstairs. So the practicing group economics can only be a benefit, but a lot of the petty differences have to be set aside for the overall economic benefit of what you can get, because people have to understand that everybody wants to start a business, everybody wants to do this, but they don't understand the power of equity in your home. Just doing a cash out refi.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a cash out refi, you can get the money untaxed. So if you sell your house, now if you sell a primary house, if you're single, any profit $250,000 is less untaxed. If you're married, family, joint, any profit $500,000 is less untaxed, which is great.
Yeah.
And anything above that is taxed, but it's only taxed above $250,000. So what that means is, if you sold your house for $260,000, you would only have to pay capital gains tax on $10,000, not $260,000.
Oh, that's good.
Exactly. But that's a primary residence. So if you have an investment property and you try to sell it, then you're going to pay capital gains tax on all of the property. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's never something that you want to do, but that's why a cash out refi and a HELOC are good options to look at, because that's a loan. You can't tax a loan. So you get that $150,000 in the cash out. That's $150 all cash. So when you hear people, when you watch the Shark Tank and all this stuff, you hear people say, "Well, how did you come up with $300,000 for investment?" Say, "I mortgaged my house." That's what they mean.
Okay.
So a lot of these people may have inherited a home, or their parents have paid the home off. When you hear people say, "Well, my parents mortgaged their home," that means that they took the equity loan out, and then they now have a house that was paid off and now has a mortgage on it. And so depending on how much equity they had in it, back to that example, you have $200,000 in equity, will give you $150,000, and now you have a mortgage. So if your house is completely paid off and you had $200,000 in equity, you'll then have $150,000 mortgage, but you got $150,000 in cash, and then they take that money, go start a business, and if the business is successful and or profitable, then they turn right around and pay that mortgage off and go right back to where they started, with a house that's paid off and now a thriving business. So people got to look at the benefits of actually home ownership.
Okay.
And so I actually have a commercial that I'm making now about people that are renting, throwing money in the garbage, and people that aren't tapping into the equity, they're leaving money on the table. So I'm in the process of making that commercial now, because and I get it, home ownership ain't always for everybody, because the first 5 years when I lived in the nation's capital, I couldn't see myself being there for the long haul. So renting was an option for me. I chose not to buy.
Yeah.
So for those people that are maybe in a city or a scenario somewhere they don't necessarily like, I definitely wouldn't encourage you to buy something. But always be looking at the investment side, because the great wealth builder is real estate. I mean, don't get me wrong, stocks, bonds, all that's great. But at the end of the day, the wealthiest people own real estate. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
Okay. And I tell you, man, one of the things that trips me out, man, is like I said before, it has already been said that we're coming up on a society that's going to be a society of renters.
Mm-hmm.
And people was, a lot of time, here's what a lot of people don't understand. Everybody think they're going to somehow or another beat the matrix, and it don't work like that.
But you know what they're setting you up for with that talk?
What?
What a lot of people don't understand. This is also called secretly the great wealth transfer. So if you can have people that have a society of all they want to do is rent, somebody has to own stuff that they rent. So when you look at what BlackRock, I think that's the name of it, they're going out and buying hundreds of thousands of properties and apartment complexes and all of that. So you want to rent, that's fine, because you don't want to own. You want to have, we're in more of a transient lifestyle, right? We're in the microwave society, and that's fine. But remember, somebody has to own all this stuff. And the person that owns all of this stuff, they're the ones who are making the rules, and they're also the ones that are making the most amount of money. Because wherever you rent, somebody owns it.
Somebody owns it.
And so it's a lot of hedge funds and REITs, which are called REIT, Real Estate Investment Trusts. They're the ones that put the money up to buy these mega complexes that's charging these luxury apartments that's charging $3,500, $4,000 a month to live in. So you think about that. That's right, that's $50,000 a month for one person.
Wow.
You got 1,000 people doing that. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so somebody owns that, so somebody's getting fat. Getting the fat pocket.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that can't be ignored.
No, man. And the thing that tripped me out, like I said before, the young lady was trying to, tell people, oh, I can help you find something, in a reasonable price range. But I'm like, good luck. You selling wolf tickets, because we live in a cap. What they say, the young people say cap. We live in a cap society, man. I was watching the video.
I'm going to tell you what you're going to see is the new norm.
What's that?
What I tell you.
What's that?
20-year mortgages are going to become the new norm. That's the way that they're going to. Because before, a conforming loan is 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that's outside of 30 years is not necessarily conforming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Traditional. And so now they're starting to do 40-year loans. So now they're adding an additional 10 years onto the loan, so that these house prices going up at 400,000, that'll bring the price back down to something under the $3,000 mark. Because like right now, mortgages is $3,000, $3,500 a month. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas 10 years ago, they might have been $1,500, $1,800, $2,000.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And so you stretch it out to 40 years. Now you're back at $2,200, $2,300 for a $400,000 house.
Yeah, and everyone is, I'm on YouTube a lot, man, getting, that's how I get that's one of the ways I get content for the podcast. And I mean, people are flooding to Dallas now, but they're flooding to Dallas only to pay the same prices they would have been paying in their home state.
But I'll say this, depending on what state they come from, right?
Yeah.
The same price gets you a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell of a lot more.
More land, yeah. You can get a bigger house, more land, sometimes a better neighborhood, because all depending on where you live, $400,000 or $500,000 have you in a place that, makes you nervous. And then you spend $400,000 or $500,000 here, you're going to be in a safe environment. You know what I mean? So
that's right.
It just depends on where they're migrating from. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. And I'm going to tell you, man, like I said before, man, I mean, crime is going up everywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people understand that. Like I said, in my neighborhood, the kids are, people leaving their doors unlocking, the youngsters, they getting them. I mean, that's just what it is. The youngsters from the inner cities coming over here to the quote unquote suburbs, and they get it how they live. But how I circumvent that is I got cameras in damn near every angle, externally and internally, and I got a camera so cold it's a light bulb, and if you walk in front of it, it's gonna be a siren that go off. So that usually deters the average criminal, because they don't want to be on camera, but two, they don't know what I got going on inside here, and that's one of the best things people can do. I could imagine right now the security industry is booming. Yeah,
well, and also too, safety of the neighborhood is also contingent and dependent on the residents, right?
That's correct.
If there's an uptick in violence in your neighborhood, and it's time to have a neighborhood watch. It's time for, everybody gets on the app and complain about it, and because a lot of these neighborhoods, especially with HOAs, they have open door, that open door app, and that's where the whole community talks to one another or whatever. Well, generally when things happen, you utilize that for everybody to kind of form a group and form a neighborhood watch and be on patrol. Because one thing a criminal doesn't like is to be noticed in a lot of activity around. So if they go somewhere knowing that it's a neighborhood watch, or they've called the police and they have a police presence, they're pretty much going to steer clear of that. And that's why more affluent areas don't deal with that level of crime, because the first time that there is any type of a key, because I'll tell you what, where I live at, they a company bought a house, and I think they tried to turn it into an Airbnb.
Yeah. And
so that was somebody pulled a kick door in the middle of the day. And that happened one time. They made those people sell that house and got them up out of here. We're not going to have that in our neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The neighborhood struck back against that. Like, nope, not going to have it, because we all work too hard to be worried about going to work and somebody going in my house. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So the neighborhood, the residents have to say, hey, we're not going to deal with it. We're going to patrol. We're going to call the police. We're going to have the police in our neighborhood. And we're going to keep the streets safe. We're going to keep it clean for our kids, So
that's right.
That's what I think, residents still have to kind of step up. Because, at the end of the day, it's your neighborhood,
That's right. It's your neighborhood. Take care of it.
You can only what you allow is going to go on, just like in your own home. Whatever you allow is what's going to happen.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, I got family members, they coming back down here, man, because they pretty much said they paying almost $2,000 a month for a 1-bedroom, and on the East Coast, they don't have central air, they have window units.
Yeah, depending on where you are.
Yeah. Well, where they are on the East Coast, they have window units, man. They pretty.
Where they at? Like Connecticut.
Connecticut. That's correct. Connecticut.
Yeah. Connecticut. Yeah, I know.
And
Boston, New England. Yep.
Oh man, and they about to marathon down here soon. They lease in September, man. They already got the moving company ready. All they waiting on is to get when they last month hit, they gonna start looking for apartments because man, it's tough, man. You know, and the thing about it, man, one of the things that could have been circumvented for this situation was, you know, buy real estate 15, 20 years ago, and they wouldn't have had this issue. But, you know, a lot of people, man, you know, people don't plan for the future, man. I was talking to my cousin today, and I pretty much told her, I said, anyone in my circle, within my family circle, will be cremated. That's just what it is. I said, I'm getting cremated. My wife getting cremated. You know, I want my sons to, you know, to have the life insurance. I want them to have the money. I want them to, you know, I want them to get it, man, because at the end of the day, you know, once the soul is left the body, that's it. What are we mourning for? I mean, we can mourn, but why are we spending 20, 30 grand on a funeral when we could just cremate them for free? Literally.
Well, you know, and I understand that. And, you know, to your point, one of the terms that the coach used to always use in basketball, failure to prepare is preparing to fail. And in most scenarios, don't prepare for the future. They're living day by day. And you know, Chris Rock made a joke about this, about people like to say, I might get hit by a bus tomorrow. I gotta do this today. Yeah, but chances are you're not gonna get hit by a bus. So when tomorrow comes in, you know what I'm saying? And you can't. Of course, I'm not saying be fearful and be too fearless, but at the same time, you still have to respect down the line, because what happens to a lot of people here, they didn't prepare for things to happen, and when they happen, now you're in the middle of a war. So if a soldier prepare for war in a time of peace, you can't train for a war in the middle of a battle.
It's too late.
You basically you in the middle of a war, so all you can do is get it how you live. The military, the United States military is training for war right now, and we're not at war.
That's right.
They don't wait till something happens and they're like, oh man, we got to get people trained up. No. The U.S. military trains for war at all times. To be in the military, you got to be in a certain weight, you got to be in a certain condition, a certain shape, you got to be able to run a mile at a certain time, you got to be able to sit up, push up. You in the military, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And that's year round.
It's year round.
When the war breaks out, our people are ready to go. We don't have time to prepare once the war breaks out. We're in the middle of a war. We're going to get killed.
Yes, sir. You'd be a damn fool to like I used to tell my son when he first started playing football, the oldest one, man, I told the coach, I said, bro, right now is the time to be teaching them during the game. It's too late.
Too late. It's game time.
It's game time, bro. It's too late.
You can't teach them nothing in the game. At that point, it's going on what we've learned in practice and before. You can't train me in your game time. Yeah, I
told the captain, I said, man, we can't train during no damn game, man. I said, hey, man, say this for practice next week. It's time to play some football. Put the people in that could play. I'm sorry. Like I told my son, do you want to win or you want to have fun? He said, I want to win. That's all I need to hear.
And winning is fun.
Winning is fun. I've never met a happy loser. I've never met them, man. It's, you know, like I said before, you know, we live in the times are changing, situations are changing, and man, you got to think differently. You got to do differently. Like I tell people, what worked in 2021, it will not work in 2022. It's inevitable. It's impossible. But people seem to believe they can use old tactics for new school situation. It just doesn't work like that. It's kind of like we were talking about autonomy and driverless vehicles. Oh, that will happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, it's happening right before our very eyes. People just don't know it.
They don't want it. They don't know it. They don't want to accept it. And it's like, man, look, this is what it is. Let's just. I'm the kind of person, man. As long as I know what I'm dealing with and it's here, I can prepare for it better. But it's the thing about being blindsided, and we know life is full of curveballs.
That's all it's full of.
That's all it's full of. And people, you know, especially in America, we just fail to prepare. I mean, I've never, you know, you hear about Walmart has a food shortage. Target knocking shit down right now to get rid of inventory, but I've yet to hear Amazon say, "Hey guys, we can't supply your stuff for you."
No,
it ain't happening. It's not happening, and that's what I want to get over to people, man. Like I tell people all the time, I'm not here to teach. I'm here to provoke thought. Period. Like the game you was giving on the real estate, man. That game there is priceless because they're not going to tell you about the HELOC and the nobody's going to tell you that.
And that's what people see. That's what I'm trying to get out to the masses to understand. Like this is how people are coming up on different things. Everybody kind of tries to use, well, it's because I'm this race, I'm that race, or that they giving it to them. Listen, man, equity, they don't, at the end of the day, the bank care about what's green. Because the bank knows you money to make money. So at the end of the day, if you qualify, and I know what you're saying, oh yeah, Wells Fargo, they got caught with the scandal, they got caught with this, they got caught with that.
Yeah.
That is true, but at the same time, a lot of stuff dealing with the bank, I had to go on to the podcast, but a lot of stuff dealing with the bank has to do with relationships with
Man, talk about that for a minute, man. Because like I said, you the finance guy, man. I mean, I can personally verify that. It ain't like you got a lot of people on here, man. They talk about finances, but I'm seeing people on social media type 1. If you type 1 and say amen, you'll get a blessing tomorrow. That ain't the world we live in. Hey man, the mortgage company ain't trying to hear that.
Wait a minute, you telling me if they don't type 1, they're not gonna get a blessing?
No sir.
I typed 1 already, man.
Nah, it ain't happening, bro. It ain't happening, man. Hey, the mortgage company don't want to hear about type amen. They want to know, hey, when I draft this money out your account, is the check gonna clear? You know this? I've never seen a mortgage company that takes credit cards. They want that money.
You said type 1 saying me. Yeah, well, a lot of business stuff boils down to individual relationships with banks. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so you get individual relationships, but first of all, you got to get your credit in line.
Yeah.
So I try to help people get your credit in line. People think that they can have bad credit, people that want good credit to get you, pretty much, what you need. And, but it's a whole lot of other stuff that goes, into that. We'll get into that on another one. And we'll get more into the banks because there's a system to how that stuff goes, as well. That I don't think people really truly understand.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to teach, but everybody don't want to listen. But the equity in housing is the way that a lot of people fund a lot of stuff. A lot of businesses got started. So it's like that. And even if you have a house, don't have a house, you have to look into it. And like I said, that's where I can come in and be able to get qualified and see what your qualification levels are. But everybody, and another thing too, like you said, goes back to the group economics. I think some of the issues in the community is everybody thinks, when I say community, I would have to specify the black community. We all want to do it on our own.
Mm.
Oh, no, I can't. I don't need this, man. I do it by myself. I'm getting it out the mud. There's no reward for doing it alone. And there is no successful person that made it to the top by themselves. Even when you're watching boxers. Because I'm only talking about, because I'm not even going to talk about team sports, because like basketball, football, baseball, hockey, I'm talking about sports that people think are individual sports. That's like one-on-one boxing, MMA, tennis. I guess golf is kind of more so head-to-head. But even if all of these, where it's just 2 people in the ring, MMA, 2 people in boxing, 2 people on the court in tennis, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They still got a team of people.
Yes, sir.
It's still a team. It's just that team is pouring all of their knowledge into that one individual. So when you watch a boxing match, you take Floyd Mayweather, it was his dad, his uncle, all the trainers. If you ever watch him train, he got a guy that's holding the mitts, and he got the next guy that's got the pad on it. He got the next man over there timing him on the speed base. A team of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so for some reason, we're the only people that think that you can do it by yourself. Every other nationality understands that it's a team effort, and that's why they're excelling, because they understand the team concept. You know, we understand it as far as sports go up to an extent, but that's life. It's a team. I don't care. NASCAR, they have a whole team that shows up with an 18-wheeler trailer.
Yes, sir.
Tennis people, they got a team. They have a team of people that they're training with nutrition. You know, a basketball team, these professional teams, you already know they got a team. And you take the 15 players on the team, they got a weights trainer, they got now mental health people on the team.
Wow.
Man, it's crazy in the NBA now. They got people for mental health now. They got like nutritionists now. They got all kinds of stuff now that they didn't used to have on these teams. And this is all so that they can perform at a peak performance. And it's the same scenario with this other stuff. It's like it has to be a team. It's a group economic in order to get ahead, you know. And it starts at home with your family. You know, a lot of people don't even work with their own spouse.
No.
It's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
They don't.
So irregardless of whatever nationality, or it starts at home, like mom and dad at odds. If y'all at odds, then how you gonna really come up? You know, I can't stand her, he can't stand him. You have to work as a team in your own home. That's where it starts to come up, and then from there you can grow. You know.
Oh, that's right, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. When it comes to our community, man, a lot of people, you know, I've been knowing you since 2010.
Yep.
And you and I have literally went on endeavors in life because you share the game with me, I share the game with you at the end of the day, because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And you know, but you get, you know, some of our people, man, we just don't get it, man. Like I said, when that associate said, she just basically said, well, what the Indians do, they, you know, 4 or 5 of them, you know, they already making 200, 150 grand, and you know, $1 million house. Yeah, you make 600 bands a year. Yeah, you can afford $1 million house, but we gonna collectively get 4 or 5 of us make 150 times 4 or 5. That's 600,000 right there.
Yep.
So quite naturally, you know, we all can afford to pay $2 grand a month and live comfortable. Not just live, but live comfortable.
And the beauty of that is this, right? So you take a $1 million house, right? And let's just say that's $2,000 a piece for 3 families, $6,000, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So that's $2,000 a piece. So you try to do it on your own with just you and your wife. Y'all paying $6,000, $6,500. So you break that down into 3 families. Now think about this. They can all afford to pay $3,000 a month, right? That's $9 grand. Mm-hmm. So they're paying 6, and then they can put that additional 3 on the principal and pay the house off even faster.
Which is what they do.
Which is precisely what's going on. So now you take a 30-year mortgage, you're not paying it off for between 10 and 15 years. And now your house goes, you buy it at 1.1, 10 years later it's worth $2 million, 2.1. You got a $2 million house that's paid for, that you can now HELOC or home equity line or do a cash out refi. And now you have effectively got yourself $1 million in cash liquid. You are effectively a millionaire. Liquid, man. 10 years. In 10 years. This is. They still working, still investing in your 401k. That's growing. And any other investments that you have, you now just have $1 million in cash on top of everything else, plus your job. And this is how you start to get ahead in the race. That's right. But all that takes planning and preparation.
And I'm gonna tell you something, man. We have a selfish community, man. And like one sister said, she said, we the only community that when the boy or the girl becomes an MD or a plastic surgeon, we relying on them as the bag. So you got one person that may make $500,000 a year, but they having to support 10 family members, 20 family members, like they're NBA player.
And you see that a lot in like, and I hate to take this part, but because these are really people in the 1%, like professional athletes, and that's how a lot of them go broke. Because they feel as though they have to take care of everybody else, and it's like it becomes almost like a burden. And so then when you have the money, everybody's hand is out, but then And everybody, you feed them, but then when you go broke, all they do is talk about, oh man, I told you he had all that money and lost it. He's stupid and all that kind of stuff, you know. It's a delicate dance, you know.
I had to tell a family member of mine, they was like, this person got $1 million settlement, how they broke in 10 years? I said, if you factor in the fact that they could make it last for 10 years, to me is good. But two, if you factor in them paying this, paying that, that money starts to deplete fast.
Yeah, especially those who try to live a good lifestyle. The best way to do it is to live under your means. You know, if you make $50,000, try to live off 25. If you make 60, try to live off 30. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way to come up. You have to save. You know, and a lot of people live check to check, and that's just not gonna bode well in the end. You know, because when things get hard, then where do you go?
Hey, you know what I find comical, man, and I watch YouTube, man, and a lot of our sisters, and I even hear some Delusion of Negro males have the audacity to say, when I get married, I'm gonna be the only provider, and my wife gonna stay at home. Man, that's not even realistic. Why did she got to stay at home? Why can't both of y'all work together? That does not make you. Why do I have to? In order for me to be the quote unquote head, I gotta work like a horse, slave horse, and try to do it on my own, when that's just financially. I mean, that's financially impossible. Even if you make $100,000 a year, $100,000 a year, and you got a family of 4 and 5, and you live in a $250,000 house, man, saving money is gonna be hard. I don't care how you look at it.
No, that's a stretch.
That's a stretch, man, and I don't think people get it. I mean, I've even heard some women say, "Oh, I desire a man that makes 6 figures." Man, 6 figures is the norm. Man, we've been making 6 figures. Man, I was making $50,000 a year with no college degree. Literally.
It's like, you know, but I guess the thing with that is, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep.
How much you keep. Wealth is not what the great Dr. Dennis Kimbrough said, wealth is not what you earn, is what you can keep, man. I ain't mean to cut you off. I had to get that out because.
No, that's the truth, because I mean, I've seen scenarios where people make 7, 8, 900,000 and live check to check, which you feel like, how is that even possible? Because if you don't have a saver's mentality, you can make $10 million a year and still be check to check.
Yes, sir.
And the number you make is almost irrelevant. It's the mindset that you have. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
It was a guy, I forgot his name, he did a documentary on it. He worked as a parking lot attendant. They said a man never made more than $10 an hour, but he had $1 million in cash.
Wow.
Yeah, and they went through how he did it. I wish I could remember that documentary. But
no,
that almost sounds like it's impossible. But
no, it's not.
No, it's possible because it was done. But you think about it, this man that they say never made more than 10 or 15, some. It was an arbitrary number, you know. And I want to say it's low. He never made more than $10. And you know nowadays, people make way more than $10 an hour.
Yeah.
You know. And this man was able to save $1 million legally. So it depends on where your mindset is. Because again, you see how many people you see on the internet, on YouTube, on your famous celebrities, your athletes. I mean, it's just regular people that make great money, but at the end of the day, they live in check to check or filing for bankruptcy, or there's nothing to show for it anymore.
Man, and I'm not trying to get too personal with my own life, but I share stories with everybody. But I can remember working for a defense contractor just last year, and I remember my coworker, he was making about what I was making, and this cat would get paid Thursday. He's broke Friday, and I'm like, dude, how you? His excuse was, I got a family of a wife and 3 girls and a house. And I'm like, well, every time I see you playing video games. You're buying video games. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was about to say, sometimes what I realize, man, is a lot of times people spend that money before it even hit their account. So they know how much they're gonna make. They've already gone out and spent that money. So by the time the check hits, that's how they end up being broke because everybody's over leveraged.
Yeah. And
and I think people make the mistake because they get that because this country as a whole is over leveraged. Running in debt, and so there's a such thing as good debt and bad debt.
That's right.
So it's like, what do you mean good debt, bad debt? Well, bad debt is just buying. You're in debt for things, objects, cars, and material things.
Yeah.
But good debt is when you have debt on actual assets like real estate, things that are actually making you money.
Yeah.
So you have a mortgage on a property, but yet this property is actually cash flow. You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
So those are good debts. So it's a lot of because most of your companies, your Fortune 500 companies are running in a deficit, but they're still profitable. So it's like you have to understand how money works for that to even make sense to you. Because it's like, they're in debt. They have investors that they're paying back. They got loans they're paying back, but they're still cash flowing. So that's good debt. But the consumer debt is the bad debt because you're just paying off stuff that you bought, stuff that you just want because it's a want at a point because it's not a need because you need food and shelter and you're able to provide that for yourself. Everything beyond that becomes a want. The gimme. So
yeah.
If you cut back on some of the gimmies, then you can start to focus on some of the needs, and then you can focus on investment. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I tell you, I was investing in BlackRock's what do you call it? Mutual fund with my 401k, and I lost money during the pandemic, but I still made money. Man, I racked up my 2 years back at the company. I racked up 50 G's in my 401k.
Yeah.
I racked up 50 G's because I understood, man, you got to save something. You got to put some money back. You got to, with the 401k, and people how about, the 401k is the biggest scam, the working a job. Like I always tell people all the time, working a job is essentially an asset because they're paying you for your time. And people, for some reason, our community believes, you working a 9 to 5, you a slave, you a this. No, the day you take an offer letter, you said, okay, I will give you my time for this amount of money per hour. I will get benefits. I will get this, that, and the third. That sounds like an asset to me. I was even watching a video today of a young lady. She quit her job. This chick quit her job as a bus driver for Greyhound to work Uber and to do DoorDash and Instacart. Now, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but look like to me you shelling out more money because you having to pay for the fact that you say you want to stay within a 3.5 mile radius to make money is stupid because I could have worked DoorDash and Uber. I could have worked DoorDash and Uber. Hold on for a minute. Hold on. Yes, sir. What's up? Yes, sir. I could have worked DoorDash and Uber back in 2016 when it was really, really, really jumping off, but financially it just didn't make sense. I'm like, man, I'm paying to make money. I'm paying to make money, and I'm like, that just doesn't make. When I can go sit on somebody's clock and they pay me, and I don't know if people know it, but majority of wealth is earned. Most people that have money, they started out with a job. That's just what it is.
I guess my next question is, and I guess they're using that they don't want to work for somebody else because they're trying to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I that's the only sense that I can make from it, because my thing is, if you're not working, then what's the alternative? Now, if the argument becomes, well, I don't want to work for someone else, I want to work for myself. Okay, Now, let's go ahead and unpack that. Because I don't think people understand that when you decide to become an entrepreneur, and I'm speaking from experience, not from what I heard. I'm explaining to you what I know. You're going to work much harder in your own business than you work for someone else. And that's not an issue. But the thing with that is there ain't no guarantee that you're actually going to make money. So at the end of the day, whether you're working for someone else or working for yourself, you gotta work in order to be able to provide. So when people say, I don't want to work, like, so then what else you gonna do? You know, if you want to be an entrepreneur and work for yourself, then what's the plan? And that goes back to, again, everybody wants to be this boss because they, hear Rick Ross and see all these people say that. They don't actually know what that entails. In order to have a business, you gotta have some money. I know the internet tell you I can show you how to start a business with no money and using somebody else's money. And I can show you how to buy a house with no cash. And it's like, I don't even understand those ads because it makes no sense to me, because it's like, you have to look at it like this. You're trying to borrow money from the bank. The bank doesn't know you from a can of paint.
No.
You're applying $300,000, $400,000 or whatever it is, $50,000 for a car or whatever loan you're applying. They don't know you. The only way that they can vet you is based on your income and your credit report.
Yeah.
So let's use this logic. You walk up to me off the street. I don't know you from a can of paint. And you ask me to loan you money. How do I know that I'm going to get my money back? I got to do research on you. It's the same.
Yeah.
Same principle on the street. When you want to borrow money from somebody, if you borrow money from somebody, you never pay them back. If you go back to that same person, and I need some money, they're never going to borrow to you again. It's the same principle. So people understand that's in the streets, understand it's the same street principle, same street mentality. It's the same thing in an institutional lending environment.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You have to utilize the same logic. You want somebody to give you something, front you something, you got to make sure you're good for it, because if you don't pay them back, there's going to be repercussions and consequences to it. So people on the streets understand that, but they don't understand why. When I went to the bank, they didn't want to loan me no money. Your credit and stuff don't look too good.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in the streets. You know, your word out there ain't too good. So I can't loan nothing to you, because then I'm going to have to come looking for you. That's the same thing with an institution. They loan you the money. You don't want to pay your car. No, I got to come get that car back from you, man.
I got to come get it. Give it up. Man, I'll tell you, I've been there, man. I mean, I can remember one time I went damn near a year without paying my truck note. Years ago. Man, I was sleeping. Next thing I know, I hear my alarm just buzzing. I said, they get me. They got me. You know, it was no argument. Hey, man, I didn't pay. You know, I didn't make the payment. Hey, man, I mean, I'm talking about they dragging my truck. They dragging my truck away like it was. Hey, man, they dragging it away, man. Hey, man, you didn't pay. Give it. We got that. We need that.
Yeah.
You know.
They heard the Lord going off. They dragging it away.
Oh, they dragging it away. Luckily, I had another truck that was cash, which is why I didn't really care. I didn't really value credit back then. But now I do. And that's something you mentioned on your channel. You was like, no matter what nobody tells you, credit is king, and it is. I mean, we live in a society, man. Within the past 60 days, I've gotten over. We gotta do something else, because we ain't gonna go down there too. There's a lot of different topics we'll have to discuss. Yeah, we'll get down there. Well, I'm gonna tell you,
we'll be here for 8 hours.
Within the past 60 days, man, I have acquired somewhere in the ballpark of damn near 30 G's in just credit and loans off my credit. Yep. With no so-called job. But this took years to build and years to establish.
Hold on now. You have income.
I do have an income.
Okay, because see, most people are like, he ain't got no job. What, he just come to No,
I have an income.
You have credit and an income.
Yeah, I have an income, but what I'm saying is, you know, it's all the above. But you know, and the thing about it, man, is that people will make the notion, oh, your credit doesn't matter. Yes, it does.
Oh, it matters.
It matters. Nobody, you know, and don't get me wrong, I hear people hollering about, you know, I met a brother. The brother showed me damn near $500,000 in his account. You know, his account with his investment and all that. And the brother bought him and his lady brand new luxury cars, which totaled the amount of almost 150. And I said, man, you are a goddamn fool. Why would you do that? Why would you not finance that? I don't do credit. No, brother, you need credit. You see,
put 150,000 cash.
Yeah, he bought 2 cars. I'm telling you, the total of them was like 150. A brand. He bought him. He got his lady a brand new Acura, and he got himself a brand new Volvo. And you know, and I was just like, man, you don't use credit. You know, basically, he doesn't have credit. And you know, and he thought by saying he bought it cash, that was something cool. I was like, no, you the fool. You want to keep as much of your liquid. You want to keep as much liquid on you as possible. And that's something that I had to learn. Like I said before, cash, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with buying things for cash if you can. But at the end of the day, credit is just leverage.
If you're going to use your cash, you want to use your cash to invest in the stuff that makes more cash. Like Mr. Wonderful said on the Shark Tank, I send my money out to bring back more money. So if I send $1 out, it needs to bring back $2 more. So if you take the cash and invest in things that are going to make money, you don't take it and put it into something that's going to depreciate, because now you just basically giving away money when you could have the cost of money. You know, even if you have an interest rate of 3%, that's just the cost of money. So as a loan officer, my job is I sell money at an interest rate, right? That's just the cost of money.
That's right.
But you're keeping. Wouldn't it have made more sense to finance those 2 cars and keep your $150,000 in cash? Something goes belly up in your life, you can sell those cars, salvage what you can, but you still got your money.
You have your money.
You just don't have $150,000, and if somebody hit that car, you totaled it, they might give you 50 for it, 45, depending on how bad it is. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
It doesn't make sense at all.
No, man, it tripped me out, man. Like I said, the brother when it come down to day trading, the brother know what he doing. I ain't gonna lie, he know his stuff on that. But the thing about it, I'm like, man, you need to be using your credit, man. You are in a good situation. Don't even really. He probably understands it, but you know, and you know, a lot of people, you know, you'd be surprised. I've learned a lot of people who you think are successful, they just don't. They know how to be successful to a degree, but they still have some missing pieces, man. And that's what tripped me out. I was like, dude, you sitting with that kind of money, you bought that stuff cash? Man, I'd have put that down on a home or you know, that's just me. You know, I'm not trying to count the brother's money at all, but I just know for me, that's how I would have done it. That's just, I'll never forget, man. And this was really woke me up to the credit game. In 2016, after I had foreclosed on my first house, this has been maybe a year or 2 later, and I went to a new subdivision, and I'm coming in there like a typical Negro, and I say, hey man, I got 20 cash, and that man put up my credit and said, keep your cash and go fix your credit. I was like, what? He said, dude, that cash means nothing. He said the bank don't want. He said the bank don't want cash. He said unless you coming to me with $250,000, $300,000 cash money, the bank don't care. He said to be honest with you, they really don't even want that cash money. They want you on the hook for 30 years. They want you on the hook for 30 years. They're trying to retire their kids off you. And I don't blame them. I mean, it's just business, you know. And I didn't take it personal, but that really woke me up to, man, you have to handle your credit. You have to have your you have to, huh? You say what now?
I say it's very delicate.
It's very delicate. It's very delicate.
Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
I hear you loud and clear. Like I said, it's very, very. Like I said, that's a whole. Like you said on the credit thing, that's a whole podcast in itself, man. But like I said, the title, we talking about hold what you got, and I even see, you know, especially in our community, people talking about divorcing. Man, you better stay with that woman, stay with that man. Right now, you need to hold what you got. Hold it. Hold
it's
it.
All about making the right decision.
That's what it's about, man.
All about decision making.
It's almost like, you know, being in like you said, you being a former athlete, a professional collegiate athlete, and the amount of work you had to put in. And can you imagine if you know, left what you knew to go get something you didn't know? You know, and you know, and I met a young lady the other day at the Cracker Barrel, and she was just so vehement against college, and I was like, hey, that's good, you're gonna get a job. I'm not trying to sway you one way or another, but you know, just always have a plan.
Yeah,
that's the key. Have a plan. When I joined the military, I knew from day one I was not going to retire. I made it known in basic training, you know, when everybody tell their story, and I made it quite known, and it pissed people off who were what we call lifers. I say, look here, I'm just passing through. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you I'm going to retire, because that is not my desire. I'm poor. I'm skinny as hell. I don't like missing meals. I'm able to get 3 hots. I'm able to get good food. And once I get what I need to get up out of y'all, I'm out. That, of course, angered some people, but hey, it is what it is. And I didn't say it like that, but I'm just kind of shortening it up, because at the end of the day, man, a lot of people understand that, you know, there's steps to life, and you got the plan. And don't get me wrong, yeah, sometimes your plans don't go the way they're supposed to go, but at least start with something. I remember when you first got into real estate.
I said, yeah, you have to.
Yeah, I remember when you first got in real estate, and you said, man, I'm going to have 20 houses. You're literally almost there, but it took time. It was steps. It was planning. It was preparing. It was sacrificing, planning, preparing, sacrifice. It wasn't like you just did it overnight. But nothing's overnight. But when we see today, you know, social media, this is a society of cappers. I mean, people really cap. I'm gonna tell you, I was watching the show, man, and this young lady came on the show, and she was talking about she doesn't give away sex for no less than $500. Man, this chick looked like Skeletor, and I said, there's no way that anybody's paying $500. And I told on a post, I told everybody, I said 99% of exotic dancers are capped. They lie. You're not making $2,000 and $3,000 a night as a dancer. Legally, it's not happening. You're doing other, what we would say, peripherals. You're prostituting. You're doing other. You're not just dancing on a pole and making that kind of money, you know. And we live in a society where everybody wants it quick. Now, I want it now. No, that's
the microwave design.
Yeah, that's not how it works. It's just not happening. It's just like when you buy a house. You're not going to gain that equity in 1 year. It's not happening. It's time. It's longevity. Is adding on to your house. It's businesses. It's a big factor, and I think that's what people are missing the point of, man. You know, and like I said before, man, this here, I want to really hit on this today. Hold what you got, man, because you know this surpasses just real estate. This is just life. You know, like I said, the young lady, you know, what she mentioned also, which I'm glad that she did, was that she was married. So I remember watching the show Everybody Hates Chris, and his mom would get mad and say, my husband got 2 jobs. I'm up out of here. And that's why she was able to quit. Like the young lady, that's why she's able to quit, because her husband, she has a spouse. And a lot of these so-called gurus, female gurus people see online, a lot of people know these women are married, man. These women ain't single. These women are married. They're not just making YouTube videos and going to spas and working out. And no, that's not life.
No.
They're not gonna tell. It's a lot more to the story. Like you said when you told me, make sure they know you have another income, and you're right. I have another whole income, which is why you can't just get loans without showing any income. It just doesn't work like that.
And that's why I wanted to make sure that was understood, because people think that you don't have to have this and that. I can show you how to do it. Yeah, well, those people smarter than I am.
Yeah, it's kind of like, when people say, I can show you how to get real estate with no money down. I'm like, how? Where?
Yeah.
Show me, because I need to know.
Right.
It's kind of like a friend of mine. We was out hanging out one weekend, and he had on some Balenciaga shoes. And one of the guys said, how much did you pay for those Balenciagos? And he's like, I paid $800 for them. He said, well, I can show you where you get them for $400. He said, where? We all know they were crickets, because you're not finna buy a pair of Balenciagos no less than $800. It's not happening. Show me where you can buy these $800 shoes for $400. Show me. You're lying, sir.
What neighbor?
What neighbor? He never even gave us an answer. We were like, well, where can you get them at for $400? They're legit, man. Like I said, we live in a society of cappers, and that's gonna be my next podcast, the society of cappers, man. We got to bring Brother Beat down on that one, because, man, we live in a society full of cappers, man. I'm talking about pure cappers, man. Lying to people. Stop lying to people, man. Tell them the truth. You ain't got to go into detail with your own personal life, but let them know, hey, that's not happening. It's like I told a young man, he was trying to find a house, and he was saying what particular community he wanted to live in. And at the time, you could buy a house for $250,000. Well, this is a year later, and I said, man, you're not going to find a house for $250,000. You would go ahead and just double it. I said, and whatever house you find for $250,000, it's going to be repairs need to be done. It's going to be a flop. It's going to be you're going to spend $50,000 repairing it.
Well, the truth don't sell, man.
Nah, the truth. The people want to be lied to, man.
The truth just flat out don't sell. Man, start talking big, talking crazy. People listen. The truth is boring. They get clicked on. Man, I don't want to hear that, man. They telling me I got to save plan. Man, I don't want to hear that, man. I want to hear the man say, I'm going to show you how to do it right now.
Good luck. And I think, man, like I said, it's kind of like I was telling my mother, she didn't know that how many businesses that the Mormons own, the Mormon community, the Latter-day Saints own. And I started spitting off Fortune 500 companies, and she was like, what? I said, yes, these organizations, people, they're not just collecting people's money in what they say, Reverend Porkchop driving a Cadillac. No, man, that money's being invested, man. That money is being invested, man. I don't know if you know it, bro, but the black church, their black churches doors are closing because people are no longer going. People are like, hey, I just go to church online, and people are not giving the tithes and the offering like they used to. And the reason why, because like, hey, where's my money going? What's up, man? Yeah, they call him Reverend Chicken Wing. Yeah, Reverend Pork Chop, Reverend Chicken Wing, man. And and it's just sad to me, man. I'm like, man, how were these people able to, like you said earlier, group up? We're the only community that does not get this, man. We don't get this.
it's interesting. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah, man, and like I said before, man, it's hurting us. We are, man. I'm not like I said. If you go to Irving, man, we was in Irving, man. It's 90% East End. Well, I'm not gonna say that much. I would say 50 to 6% East Indians, man. And I'll be honest with you, when I was doing adjusting work, and I would go to the client's house, and I would, they had a catastrophe, and I would have to ask, hey, do you have a lien? Who's your lien holder? Who's your loan holder? Man, I would say out of 5 Indians, 4 of them told me, I own my house. It's cash. Do you want to see the title? Let me go get it for you. Mm-hmm. So they've been utilizing this group economics for so long, and it's like we don't get it, man. If we do have communities, it's always some fuckery. It's some shit where it's one person who has all these people under him. It's always some fuck shit.
It's always something extra going on.
There's always something extra going on, man. Look, stop taking the people's money, invest the money. But this is it's the man, like, I'll be honest with you, man. Now they're trying to get it to where our people get reparations. And I'm for reparations, but I'll be honest with you, we're not going to get that shit. It's not happening. We're not getting it. We're not going to get it, man.
I'll say this, get that HELOC and get that 10 cash out refi. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That's how you get your money.
That's how you get your money. I mean? Like, me, I'm trying to, in the next 5 years, man, I will be in agriculture. Mm-hmm. That's what I am going to do. I am going to be in it because, again, that is wealth right there. But guess what? I'm going to build a team because I can't do it by myself, Chris. I mean, I'm not going. I just can't. Most farmers, most white farmers, that stuff is passed down from generation.
Oh yeah.
So I'm having to start from scratch, which is fine, which is no problem, but it's a little bit harder. But I'm gonna develop a team of people who know a hell of a lot more than me, and I'm gonna get this thing jumping, man. Because essentially, that's how I'm gonna succeed. There's no way I can do it by myself. I just can't.
No, you can't. You have to get a team, and you got to work together. That's the only way to go about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Like I said, man, that's the way that's the way we as a people are going to have to make it. We're gonna have to, I mean, I get it. Racism, I'm, it's here. I get it. You'll get no pushback from me, but racism is not stopping us from grouping up.
Yeah, and so, but you still got to use what's available to you.
That's right.
And, having property, cashing out, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff is available.
It's available, man.
And it's available. So, you just gotta, you just have to utilize, what's available to you and take what you have to move to where you're trying to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no way around that. There's no way around that, man. No, well, man, let me ask you this, man. What else did you want to let the people know, man?
Man, that's it, man. If they need to contact me, man, they can check me out on YouTube. Just type CT, hit me with email, ctThomas20@outlook.com, and just send me an email or what have you, and I can get with you if you want to know about the HELOC, the cash out refi, any just building credit, things of that nature. We can set up some calls or what have you, man. But we'll definitely do another one talking about some more stuff as well. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Because this is the like Dr. Claude said, everything has a foundation. Yes. We're not gonna just he said the problem with us is we try to start building a foundation from the top down, and it doesn't work like that. No. You have to build a house from the ground up. Ground up? You better believe it.
Well, man, I want to thank you for coming on the podcast, my brother.
Yes, sir.
The jewels you drop, man, is priceless. But like I said, guys, you know, we're gonna end on this note right here, man. And I'm glad you came on, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me, man.
All right.
We'll talk later on.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, folks, there you have it. Hold what you got. Hold what you got. And that's not even just in real estate. That's in life. I'm not trying to pump fear into people, but I'm saying, if you're in a situation right now and you're not really losing, hold what you got. Thank you for tuning into the Cigars and Mac podcast. I'm out.